Welcome back to the 10th and final day of the University of Rhode Island Guitar Festival Guitar Build. Today, we're going to be getting the neck done and set, and because I took the time to get everything set up, I like to just take a quick measurement. Generally, my fingerboards are pretty close because I use a little bit of a block to tell me where I want my string height to be. That kind of gives me some good numbers to start working from. I like to hand plane off the crown into the fingerboard at this point and use a scraper to do any adjustments, and once I've gotten the fingerboard set the way that I like with the action height, I'll do any last details that way and sand it up. And we're kind of at the home stretch. Each of these operations takes a long time. Because I did touch the hand plane to the surface, I like to chase all the frets with a good fret saw, give the fingerboard a good seal with some cyano and sand that all back, chase the slots one more time, make sure it's good, and just beat the guitar like it owes me money to get those frets in. Make sure that they're all dressed off nicely and level. And I like to run a couple drops up the end that with the super glue. It really keeps those frets in and keeps them from walking out. Makes life easy. When clipping off fret ends, I always highly recommend to keep a plate nearby, and when I get over the body, I like to put a ruler there so that way it keeps them off the body, but oops, sometimes they get away from you. But it really does prevent a lot of the excess damage and any bounce or whatever. And sometimes the fret ends will fall straight into the top as well. Once you've got both sides cut off, I like to take all those fret ends, count them, make sure I don't have an errant one on the top anywhere on my carpet. From there, I like to file off the edges, dress the tops, because I've left the first fret off because I want a little bit of extra lift there. This whole process takes a lot of time, and yes, you can buy a jig, but I actually prefer to do it freehand because it gives me a better feel and a little bit more control. For me, the goal is to get the fingerboard as nice as possible up that edge, because there's so many variables that can happen. Now, I like to buff up the bridge before it goes on, give your compound a shake, and this is a McGuire's number 9. Very, very great compound, no waxes, no silicones, no nothing like that, just a good cutting. It does a great job of shining up that bridge. It's still a little bit sticky because it's only been a few days, but I'm going to be careful here. So I'm polishing everything, making sure it's good. I'll drill out all these holes because we ran some cyano in there earlier just to clean them out, and you can see that in the previous one, which will be linked in the upper right hand corner. Otherwise, if you're watching this for the first time, yes, I'm drilling them freehand. I'm going to sharpen up my scraper just to really clean up the bottom side because there's some buffing compound on there. There's a little bit of burn from bending it, and I want a slight hollow across the underside because once you put some wet high glue on there, sometimes they tend to flatten out. This doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it does really make things work better. I like to score the underside of the bridge very lightly just to give it something to bite against, but not too heavily. And off camera, I have French polished the entire guitar, which did take quite some time. I think I was up until about 4 in the morning doing this, but I had to get it ready for the show, which it made it there just in time. Now, it was an absolutely beautiful guitar. It French polished beautifully, went very quick, and I think a lot of that to the good filler and my friend Barry Gork over at Gork's Good Filler. I like to use a stick here, which has the scale length pre-measured out on it so I don't have to think, which I'm very thankful for because it was about 4 o'clock in the morning at this point. And so I like to see where the first string will lie, the 6th string will lie, and then double check the overall scale length, making sure it's exactly what I want, check my center lines, and make any adjustments that are needed. And this is one of those places where I will glibly say, measure twice. Cut once, measure again, measure again, measure again, because you can never measure enough to make sure your bridge is set, because it is so important. Make sure it's centered, make sure it lines up with the edges of your fingerboard, and then the most nerve-wracking part is scoring this into the top, because once you go there, you cannot go back. And gotta take a picture for the gram. Now, because this is a fresh French polish, it actually scrapes off pretty easy, and I can get back to bare wood, which is really important. Just right up to those lines, making sure that I don't have any of those shellac bits left on the top. And I'm going to very carefully go up to the edge, being very careful that I'm not leaving any shellac flakes on there because they will sink in and bond with the top in other places. You know, this is coming along pretty well. I'm very happy with that. Had to get my chisel so that way I can score it down, and just very gently go straight to the middle, not too far. You know, I'm breaking one of my cardinal rules, which is don't put the bleedy things in front of the sharp thing, but well, there we go. Unfortunately, my camera cut out as I glued the bridge down, but it is glued down, and now I'm just buffing her out. A little bit of that Meguiar's number 9, a little dabble of water, and it really cuts so beautifully, and you can see that polishing up like nobody's business, and that is a gorgeous set of wood, isn't it? Buff out the top, get your frets polished up, and boy, we're just about there. I could almost hear it. Well, actually, I have heard it because it already happened, and this is in the past for me and for you, but you'll get there eventually. Just be careful with this. I'm using a lamb's wool pad, which is a very aggressive pad. So in mounting the tuning machines, I like to use these machinist reamers to make sure I get all the filler and shellac and whatever else out. I drill my holes slightly undersized so that way I can be back at fresh wood when I do that. And mounting a pair of Rogers onto this is one of the most satisfying things on the face of the earth. A lot of people will mark them and poke them and then drill them out. I ain't got time for that. I like to just drill it in where it is, be very careful that you don't hit the plate, and then get it screwed in very nicely, and make sure that all those screws are clocked perfectly. It really makes a difference. And after this, it's just a matter of making a nut and a saddle for the guitar, and it should be there. I'll give you a moment to revel in this majesty. That top is absolutely gorgeous. The sides and back are absolutely gorgeous, and I'll link to this one. Thanks for sticking with me on this build. Something exciting is really coming up soon. And like, subscribe, and come on by and play this one. See you next time. Keep building. Is anybody still watching? This guitar's available if you want it. Check out mebrune.com. I'll give you a good special discount if you shoot me an email.